We're back.
I'm Mark.
No, we did that part already.
Okay, we did that part already. Let's start. Nice. 1916.
Yeah, 1916 German World War I Stahlhelm. Unfortunately, no liner. Frequently missing from these. But the 16 had these suspension lugs on the outside of the flange that attached to the chin strap. And it used kind of a cog method to go on, and equally a cog method made it fall off. So that's why very rare to find with chin straps. Just the way of it. These lugs are kind of interesting because they were designed to hold a iron helmet plate for the machine gunners and other trench warriors to stick their heads up and not get pinged. And because the Germans had helmets that came in actually several different sizes, they needed these lugs to be at the same position on each helmet depending on the size. So on the smaller helmets, you tend to see these kind of washer spacers to actually build out those air vent lugs to keep them at the right size. So you can tell the size of a German helmet sort of by looking at the lugs. Little tidbit of information. This one is kind of cool. It's actually, I believe, an Austrian, but it's a Model 18 with the early, where the chin strap is now attached to these suspension points inside. But this one actually was mailed home, and that was actually fairly common in World War I for guys to send these home. So it's actually got the from information and the to information, someplace in Chicago. And it's okayed by Major somebody something U.S. Army. And then this band was probably where the stamps were actually affixed. So we're going to kind of gently clean that up and see if we can bring that out a little bit more. See if we can identify who this was sent home by. Yeah, somebody in the AEF. But that's kind of cool. Anytime you can find something that's identified and, kind of tied to a soldier, that's awesome. So, Imperial German, visor hat, NCO, I think.
Yep.
Maybe an officer, I don't know. Another one in the field gray, kind of cool. It's actually got the itty bitty little reservist crossed in the center of the cockade. And I don't recognize the state color of that one. One of the German states. But very cool, very hard hat to find, even with the slightly loose chin strap. Another German, they call it the kind of pork pie hat, missing the cockade. And another German with this characteristic small visor. Yeah, a lot of names in this one. You can see where the cockades were taken off. This one might go with that Ulan uniform that we showed you in the previous edition. All right, sticking with Germany. This is a political leader hat, NSDAP. The blue piping tells us it's the Orts level, or kind of block level, kind of the more common of the political leader hats, but a very nice example of the hat. They called them the Golden Pheasants because their uniforms were so fancy. Stay in German. Here's a German Army one that the collector thought highly of because he kept it sealed in this plastic bag. Also kept it sponged and tied to maintain the shape. Personally, I like a little bit more airflow, and I'm not a big fan of plastics, but it did its job. It's still a nice infantry NCO visor hat. All right, going American. This is actually kind of cool. This is a American enlisted visor hat, probably theater made. It's named to the guy, but kind of an unusual construction material and kind of an unusual inner lining. This is a World War I helmet. It's actually Brody Helmet. It's actually a British example, and the way you can tell the British ones versus the American ones. The British used a split pin rivet versus the American. You should use this single pin rivet. And the British had this rubber donut in the top of theirs. So a lot of British helmets were actually used by American units. So just because you see a British helmet doesn't mean that it was used by the Brits. A lot of times we'll find these painted up with American unit insignia on them as well. But a lot of divisions were issued almost entirely, like the 7th Division. Every 7th Division helmet I've seen has pretty much been a British helmet. Slightly used Marine Corps cover. They don't have caps or whatever, they have covers.
Isn't this an officer with a...
Oh, with the quadrifoil? I believe you're right. Kolegi po polsku? I don't. But this is a Polish hat of some type. More modern. Probably 80s.
It's post-communist because it's got a skull on the eagle
Crown. Mark's just making stuff up now. Heading back to Germany. This is actually NCO spiked helmet, pre-war with the brass fittings. Kind of cool. Missing the little piece, but we got a little bit. We have a lot of bits and bobs still in the boxes. So as we go through it, we're hoping to find some of the pieces. Thank you. Got an American M1 classic helmet. Front seam swivel bail. Decent early liner, decent chin straps. Nice example. A couple stress cracks, but the paint's really good. It's always nice to see. Thank you. This one's early front seam fixed bail, where the little loops are welded right on. And again, a nice early liner. The chin strap's a little, or the sweatband's a little loose on that one. But nice, always nice to find. Great original paint.
This is a P38. They refer to this as the hard shell holster. The later soft holsters didn't enclose the whole pistol, so the butt was sticking out.
You don't want your butt sticking out. There's one that the butt would stick out on. US 45 holster. Great weapon, great holster. All right, this is an American. Yeah, this is the American version of the Brody helmet. World War I doughboy helmet with the single non-split pin and no donut. Nice to have the chin straps intact. Never, ever carry them by their leather. The leather's over 100 years old. This cow is long dead, and these will break. If you're ever at a show, don't pick them up by the chin straps. Pick them up carefully by the edge. And always ask before you pick stuff up at a show. Just be courteous. Be nice, people. Come on.
Here's a couple of World War II German K98 pouches. They're attached to a post-war belt, but
not for long, because look what I have here. A decent World War II German Army belt and buckle. So that's nice. Still got the tab, a little bit of wear, but decent buckle.
There you go.
Hermetically sealed pith helmet. It's actually plastic. We call that a collectible rare antique piece.
Oh, here's another 45 holster.
This is the shoulder holster. An Inger Crest made one. That's actually in really nice shape. So that's cool. Frequently used by tankers and pilots and other just guys who wanted to be cool wearing a shoulder holster.
41 dated German heavy-duty Y-straps.
Why not? The Non-Combatant Gas Mask. The interesting thing, this one's actually for a child. A lot of times you see them for the adults, but this is the child size one. So smaller than we normally see. You know, and equally frightening. Also labeled for a child up there. So thankfully we never had to use them. Speaking of gas masks,
Here's a World War II German gas mask container. And the filter is missing off of this. But it's 1936 dated. Ooh.
Luke. No, Luke. I am your father. This one's a little worse for the wear. You got to wonder what these things like. Why is this white and blue and, you know, kind of knackered up? What did it see its life? This little.
Oh, that's nice.
This is actually the child's gas mask that goes with that filter. So this is the German version of the child's gas mask. But this one actually does have a filter in it. So sometimes when we buy stuff, we get it how it is. That's just the way of it.
Ooh, a German Canteen. 1940 dated, I think.
Huh.
Here's a real special hat.
Stylish.
Whatever
I'd
this
like
is
a jalapeno omelet, please. Or no, say dynamite.
for. Dynamite.
Excellent. All right. We got a World War One ammunition belt, 10 pocket. These are always great. Every reenactor needs one. Collectors like them. They're great to display with, .03 or other World War One rifle.
We have some hat covers.
Oh, it'll probably go with the Marine Corps hat that we previously saw, since they have the quadrifoil on the top.
And then this one seems to, well,
It's the USM. I don't know. This is an early one. 1917 dated. Even the canvas feels kind of weird. It's a little more of a rougher canvas. But it actually looks like it's got some kind of unit markings on it. Don't know what that's about. But it's dated Rock Island to Arsenal, 1917. So very cool to find. You know, that'll pack up nicely.
gas mask bag.
World War II kidney-shaped gas mask bag. Also nicely marked. World War I gas mask bags. Never really paid enough attention to them to be able to tell the British from the American version. That's the mess kit pouch for the pack.
It's marked in the back.
Oh yeah, same markings. So it would go to actually. This one actually did belong to that pack. DAT. I don't know what that DAT 310 truck A30.
I think these are a Spanish American War leggings.
They are early leggings. Kind of the bright green. Oh, made in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's cool. Milwaukee, spat capital of the world.
Well, we had some very unique leather strap.
This is cool. Do you know what this is for?
Are those for your eyeglasses to keep them from falling off your head?
No. This is actually the chin strap for the World War One Montana peaked hat, the drill instructor's hat. These little loops go around the cord that attaches to that. So kind of a rare chin strap to find.
Oh, we got
Yeah, a bunch of leggings. No one cares. Okay, we're moving on.
All right, we're back again. We have a selection of helmets. This is the best of the lot. This is a World War II Japanese combat helmet. Still got the original paint. It's missing the star off the front. It's missing part of the liner, but it's still got the chin strap. But it's still original paint and original helmet.
Very hard to find. We'll find one Japanese helmet for about every 50 German helmets that we find. So for whatever reason, the Japanese helmets are very rare. The rest of the helmets, unfortunately not super exciting. The good news is they're all real helmets. The bad news is they're in various states of collector-isms. Having been repainted, delinered, but they're all real German. This one would have been a double decal Model 35. It's hard to say what was going on with the paint here. Another German. Oh, this one actually has a partial liner. Okay, so that's not as horrible as I thought until I saw the big, I don't know, impressionistic painting on it. So again, don't know what's going on there. Looked like it was a Luftwaffe helmet at one point before it got found in the garage by the kids. This is a Model 42 German helmet where we got the flangey part that bends out to give it that kind of tensile strength. Again, needs to be redone.
This is kind of a larger...
This one's actually a Model 35 too. If it's got the size info, I can't quite make it out. I can see the heat lot number, but the size, because of the extra layer of paint, has kind of covered that up. It kind of obscured that. So, but reenactors love these because using a real German helmet shell is a lot more accurate than using some of the junk that comes out of overseas countries. We also have a couple Adrian helmets. Yo, Adrian! Probably French because of having the badge on the front. Although the Adrian was probably the helmet that was used by the most countries over time. You'll find them used by the French, the Italians, actually the African Americans serving in World War I from the United States were issued French Adrian helmets, which is why they adopted that as their unit patch in World War II. But also the Russians used them, the Thais, Thailanders, they used them. A lot of other countries used them. It might have actually been the first helmet that was actually used as well.
I think that started off as a fireman's helmet, and then it became a combat helmet. It was very lightweight.
With the comb to deflect. But again, unfortunately, all these are in desperate need of restoration. So, but the good news is they're all candidates for restoration. All right, we're moving on.
And here we are. We're down to our last bits and pieces of that collection. And so we've got patches, medals, and some field gear. And so we'll start with a World War II German canteen. Isn't this a medical one?
Yeah, it's a slightly larger size. I believe it's a 2-liter canteen with the extra little donut sewn onto it. Typically used by the medics. Also sometimes used by the mountain troopers. That larger size. Typically you'll see a larger harness attached to it as well. This is kind of cool. This is a front plate, a German helmet front plate. This one happens to be for a guard helmet with the guard star, they call that. So very high quality, very nice looking front eagle plate. We also did get some other World War I spiked helmet front plates. This is a wartime one in the gray. This is a pre-war one in the brass.
We have a World War II German mess kits. With something in there. Oh, it's a spork. Combination fork and spoon.
Those Germans, they were always thinking. Except when they were killing innocent people. All right, so we got a bunch of patches. And patches are really great. Always love to find patches. One of the things I started collecting, so it's always kind of neat to see. And one of the things that's fun about collecting patches is the variations that you'll find, in like just common patch designs. Here's that one I was talking about with the Adrian Helmet. I believe this is the 92nd Division. But that's actually the French Adrian Helmet that the African American troops wore over in France. This is cool, kind of a neat variant of the 15th Army Air Force patch where they just embroidered the 15 on top of that. We've also got some other more popular ones. 82nd Airborne, 101st Airborne,
17th?
No.
13th.
13th Airborne? 17th Airborne. Several variants of the 30th Division, Old Hickory. These guys landed at Normandy. Some of the China, Burma, India patches. This is actually First World War, First Army, and what's neat about these is that they actually have the different colored insides of the A representing the branch colors. So in this case, maroon and white would be for medical service. So that's kind of cool. Silk Theater made 3rd Division, probably made in Italy. We got some German stuff?
Yes, we have shields for combat in different areas. This is the Narvik shield. This is 1940. It's missing the back plate on it, but the shield is original. This is the Kuban Shield for the Kuban area in Russia. And this is the Krem Shield, which is for the Crimea area. There's a large battle spot there. And this one actually has the cloth backing, but this is gray, indicating that this was a Luftwaffe issued campaign badge. We have a couple of long service medals. We have a gold Army Cross for, isn't that 25 years of service? And then we have a smaller, I think this is 8-year service.
And you old school collectors will recognize those are actually the old Mannion's auction bags that they're in. Mannion's was a company that put out a catalog auction back in the 80s and 90s. They were one of the major sources before the intranet. I know some of you kids are freaking out, going, what do you mean before the internet? But we used to have to buy things through catalogs. Catalogs were books that you would look into and flip through, and it was an auction, so you would bid, and hopefully you won some of those.
Here's a Eastern Front medal, also from Mannion's. This is the medal that the Italians gave to soldiers fighting for the Africa Corps and in Africa. And this one is weird because the ribbon is not completely painted, or it hasn't been completely dyed. It was like started, but it wasn't finished. And,
yeah, that's weird.
Maybe they do something special.
The ribbon factory was overrun. Here's a little Stahlhelm membership pin. Those are always neat. I always like the early stuff. The Stahlhelm organization was a group of World War I German fighters. And this organization was later absorbed into the German SS.
We have some U.S. medals. We have a Good Conduct Medal. World War II Victory Medal. The Pacific Theater Medal. This is the American Theater Medal, and this is the American Defense Medal. This is for guys that were in the service prior to December 7th, 1941. Yeah, these are wartime medals.
There's some other reissue ones that were issued later. Like a lot of times if a veteran didn't get their medals, they could send in to the government to get them, and then they would get the reissue medals. I actually had to help my uncle get his medals because he had never got his wartime medals. But we got him a set of his medals, so that made him very happy. Okay, so a lot of stuff, a lot of different categories of stuff. This is one of those collections that we were excited to get. Not a lot of neat pieces to it. We're going to be going through it for a while yet and kind of cataloging and pricing and getting stuff sorted. But we wanted to share it with you. So I hope you enjoyed this little foray into this collection. We will see you again soon. Until then, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Mark.
And this is the Military Collectibles Shop. And I don't know.
And have a nice evening.
Have a great day. See you. Be safe.
We're back. There was one item we forgot out of the collection. Imagine forgetting this cuirass. And it was like, wow.
So this is a Prussian cuirass from the Lifeguard Regiment. The cuirassiers were horse-mounted troops that wore these as armor, front plate, back plate. Early on, it was actually used as armor, but then it became more of a ceremonial type of thing. But the plate on the front tells us that it belonged to an enlisted member of the Lifeguard. So very cool piece to find, even in its partial state. At least we got the front with the piece on it rather than the back that would have nothing. So an awesome piece to find. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you again. Remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Drop us a line, send us an email. We love to hear from you. And we will see you again soon on What's New at the Military Collectibles Shop.
I'm Mark.
I'm Jerry. See ya.